The last cowboy, the roar of the mountain lion still echoed in Wade Thornton's ears as the beast lunged, razor-sharp claws seeking his throat. Instinct took over. Wade's hunting knife, a relic from his cavalry days, flashed in the afternoon sun as he drove it upward, catching the massive cat mid-leap. Blood sprayed across his face as the blade found its mark, but not before the lion's claws ripped through his shirt, tearing three deep gashes across his chest. The pain was blinding, but Wade's grip never faltered as he drove the blade deeper. When it was over, the mountain lion lay dead at his feet, its golden eyes now empty, staring at nothing. But the two Navajo women behind him weren't running. They weren't screaming. They were just watching him with an unnerving calm. "A man carries the scars he chooses," the older one said in flawless English, studying his bleeding chest. "Most men would have run, but you chose differently." The older sister stepped closer, dark eyes studying Wade with unsettling intensity. She spoke softly in Navajo to her younger sister, then looked back at Wade and said words that would haunt him. "Chief Makia has been waiting for you." Waiting for him? Wade had never met any Navajo chief. He'd been living alone on that god-forsaken patch of dirt he called a ranch for 3 years. But somehow these women acted like they knew exactly who he was. The younger sister knelt beside the lion's body, retrieving a small carved bone stained with the beast's blood. This was beneath the cat, a territory marker. Someone drove this lion from her den. Wade's legs nearly buckled as the adrenaline began to fade. The three claw marks ran from his shoulder down to his ribs, deep enough that bone showed through in places. "We need to stop that bleeding," the older sister said. "I'm Kiona. This is my sister, Nita." As Kiona tended his wounds with a pungent herbal paste, Nita explained, "Someone wants this land badly enough to use beasts as weapons." "Your chief doesn't know me," Wade said, confusion evident in his voice. The sisters exchanged a meaningful look. "He knows more than you might think, Wade Thornton. Your time in the cavalry, how you refused 3 offers to sell that dried-up patch of yours to Buchanan and his Westland outfit." A chill that had nothing to do with blood loss ran down Wade's spine. "How do you know all that?" "You shared your well water with Navajo families passing through," Nita said, "even when your own cattle were dying of thirst." "That day you gave water to the Begay family," Kiona continued. "Their youngest daughter would have died without it. They are cousins to Chief Makia." Wade felt the weight of memory. For 3 years he'd worked that miserable patch of land, trying to forget Sarah and their stillborn son. It had been easier to be alone, to simply exist in the brutal simplicity of daily survival. "I'm just a failed rancher," he said quietly. "What would your chief want with me?" Before anyone could answer, Nita tensed. "Someone's coming." Wade's hand moved instinctively to his Winchester .66 rifle. In the distance, a small group of riders approached. They rode in formation, disciplined, purposeful. As they drew closer, he counted 4 Navajo men on horseback. "That will be our brother and his men," Kiona said. "They were hunting the same cat that attacked us." The lead rider's hand rested near his holstered Colt as he approached. "Kiona, Nita," he said with relief. "We heard screams." "This man saved us, Hototo," Kiona said. "The cat had Nita cornered. He killed it with nothing but a hunting knife." Hototo examined Wade's hands, noting the split knuckles and torn palms. "Mountain lions don't usually attack during daylight unless they're desperate or defending territory." Nita pulled out the carved bone. "We found this beneath her body." Hototo's expression darkened. "These markings, they're not Navajo. Cattlemen from the east, Westland Cattle Company. They've been pushing closer to our borders for months." "The cat wasn't hunting," Hototo continued, examining tracks. "Someone pushed her from her den, forced her into unfamiliar territory." "What does your chief know about me?" Wade asked carefully. He knows you lost a wife and child back east and came west to forget, Hototo replied. The words hit Wade like physical blows. Sarah's face flashed before his eyes. Her smile, then her stillness after the fever took her, their stillborn son cradled in her arms. Suddenly, the crack of a rifle shot split the air. Wade dropped to one knee, scanning the horizon. Northwest ridge, about half a mile, he said without thinking. Hototo nodded, impressed. 3 men, watching us. Westland Company men. Another shot rang out. Wade's Winchester was in his hands in an instant. He steadied his breathing, narrowed his vision, and squeezed the trigger. A distant cry confirmed his aim. You hit him! At that distance! Hototo asked in surprise. Winged him, Wade replied simply. Kiona looked at Wade with newfound respect. You've fought in more than just barroom brawls. Hototo mounted his horse. Chief Makia has been watching you for months. Today you've given him his answer. Are you coming? Where? To meet the chief. He's been waiting to speak with you. What if I say no? Then you ride back to your ranch alone. Buchanan's men are already moving. Today or tomorrow, they will come for your land. The choice was clear. As they rode to the Navajo settlement, Hototo positioned riders in a defensive formation. Wade recognized the tactics from his military days. The Navajo settlement lay hidden in a valley protected by towering sandstone formations. Wade had passed near this area countless times, but had never seen any signs of habitation. It was a thriving community that had blended tradition with practical necessity. Chief Makia waited by the council fire. He appeared to be in his 70s with silver-streaked hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything without judgment. What caught Wade's attention was the Spencer carbine leaning against the chief's chair, the same model Wade had carried during his cavalry days. Welcome, Wade Thornton, the chief said. My daughters tell me you fought a mountain lion to save them. I used my knife when I had to, Wade clarified. The chief nodded approvingly. Honesty. Good. Tell me, what do you know about the men who want your land? Maxwell Buchanan and his Westland outfit. They've made 3 offers to buy my place. When I refused the 3rd time, his foreman said they wouldn't ask again. The chief drew a rough map in the dirt. Your land controls the only water access along the most direct route between Buchanan's holdings and our territory. Without it, they would have to travel an extra 2 days around the mesa formations. They'll take it one way or another, the chief continued. Men like Buchanan don't accept obstacles. Then why haven't they done it already? Because taking land from a white rancher requires justification that satisfies the territorial authorities. Taking land from Navajo families requires no justification at all. You could sell, the chief suggested. Take their money and start over somewhere else. I could, Wade agreed, but I won't, because it's not right, and because once men like Buchanan discover they can intimidate you, they never stop. Alone? They'll destroy you, the chief replied. One man against their resources has no chance, but one man fighting alongside others, that changes everything. From a wooden chest, the chief withdrew a leather document case containing several official-looking papers. We have something Buchanan doesn't expect. Legal title to this land, granted by the territorial government 15 years ago in exchange for our service as scouts. What are you proposing? Wade asked. An alliance. You continue to work your ranch, but under our protection. In exchange, you help us defend this valley from those who would take it. There's something else, Chief Makia continued. Buchanan isn't just marking territory. He's building an armed compound 10 miles east of here. They've already brought in a Gatling gun. Wade's blood ran cold. He'd seen what those weapons could do during the war. Before he could respond, a young rider galloped into the valley. Chief, armed men are approaching Thornton's ranch. At least 15 riders. They're burning everything. Wade didn't hesitate. I accept your alliance, but we need to move now. Within minutes, warriors emerged from their dwellings carrying rifles and ammunition. Kiona approached Wade with a rifle. This belonged to my husband. He died defending our northern borders last winter. He would want it used to protect family. The weight of that word, family, struck Wade deeply. As they rode out of the valley, Wade felt a strange mixture of loss and anticipation. He was leaving behind his solitary life, but gaining something he had never dared hope for, a place where he belonged. When they crested the final ridge before his property, Wade's blood ran cold. Smoke rose from multiple points around his small homestead. His barn was fully engulfed in flames, his cabin partially collapsed. Men had killed his cattle for sport and were waiting to see if he would return. "What's the plan?" Wade asked, checking his rifle. "They chose their position poorly," Chief Makia observed. "No protection from crossfire." He directed half his warriors to circle wide while the rest prepared for a frontal assault. "We want them to deliver a message back to Buchanan. Wade Thornton is no longer alone." The attack was devastating in its precision. Wade rode directly toward his burning cabin, rifle blazing. He spotted Curtis, Buchanan's foreman, directing the defense. Wade's shot caught the man in the chest, spinning him off his horse. Curtis lay gasping, blood bubbling from his lips. "Buchanan, we'll burn you all," he managed. Wade leaned close. "Tell the devil Buchanan sent you, and that he's next if he comes for this land." When the firefight ended, 5 raiders lay dead or wounded while the rest had fled. Only 7 of Wade's cattle had survived, but it was enough to start over with the protection he now had. Chief Makia approached one of the wounded raiders. "Tell Buchanan this land now belongs to the Navajo Nation and Wade Thornton jointly. Any further trespassing will be considered an act of war." 3 days later, Captain Robertson and 8 federal soldiers rode into the valley to investigate reports of Navajo raids. "I'm Wade Thornton," Wade said, extending his hand. "And I haven't been missing. I've been conducting legal business with my Navajo partners." Recognition dawned in the captain's eyes. "Wait, Sergeant Thornton, Company B, 4th Cavalry. Last time I saw you, you were pulling half a company out of an ambush near Gettysburg." This shared history shifted the dynamic immediately. Chief Makia presented their legal documentation, and Robertson spent hours conducting a thorough investigation. During the inspection, Wade noticed a young corporal named Jenkins behaving suspiciously. He followed the man to a storage shed and caught him rifling through the Navajo's official documents. "Stay back," Jenkins warned, drawing his pistol. "I know what you are, Thornton, a traitor to your own kind. Buchanan has men everywhere." "Put the gun down, Corporal," came Robertson's voice from the doorway. "That's an order." The disgraced soldier was led away in handcuffs. Robertson filed a report recommending an investigation into the Westland Cattle Company. 3 days later, Wade and Hototo spotted a large group of riders approaching, Maxwell Buchanan himself leading 20 armed men toward the valley. In the ensuing chase, Wade made his stand at Sentinel Rock, holding off Buchanan's men until Hototo returned with reinforcements. Just as Wade's position was about to be overrun, Captain Robertson arrived with a full company of soldiers. "Maxwell Buchanan, by the authority of the United States government, you're under arrest for multiple counts of fraud, attempted murder, and conspiracy against legal landholders." 3 months later, Wade stood in the territorial courthouse, now the legally appointed advocate for the Navajo Nation. Where once he had struggled alone, he now managed thriving herds that numbered in the hundreds. "The court recognizes the Navajo Nation's petition for expanded water rights," the judge announced. As they rode back to the valley, passing the site of Wade's old ranch, Nita asked, "Do you ever regret it, giving up your independence to become part of our community?" "I thought I was independent before," Wade replied, "but I was just alone. Real independence comes from being strong enough to help others and having people you can depend on when you need help." As they crested the ridge overlooking the Navajo Valley, Wade saw home, not just a place to survive, but a place where he belonged, where his skills mattered, where he could build something lasting. People called him the last cowboy now, not because he was the last man to ride a horse and tend cattle, but because he represented the end of an era of lone men struggling against the wilderness. He had discovered what many never learn, that true strength comes not from standing alone, but from standing together. The setting sun painted the valley in golden light, illuminating a future that stretched ahead with purpose and prosperity. But even as Wade embraced his new life, he noticed the distant whistle of a train echoing from the eastern horizon, a sound that signaled new challenges for the unique community he now called family. Hey there, friends. Thanks for riding along with Wade Thornton and the Navajo people on this journey of courage, honor, and finding your true home on the frontier. If you enjoyed The Last Cowboy, you'll love our next tale about Sheriff Frank Taggart and the Comanche warrior who saved his life during the Great Cattle Drive of 1875. Click the video appearing on your screen now to continue your journey through the untamed West. This is Thomas Ryder, reminding you that the spirit of the West lives on in all of us who value courage, honesty, and standing up for what's right. Until next time, partners.